The Old Pros is a theater and educational group that works on bringing great musicals, great performances to the stages here in Laguna Woods. I'm joined by some Old Pros themselves, Michael Pontecorvo and Al Glover. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's get right to the big thing. We've got two pretty good shows coming up. One night, two shows. Tell us about it. Who wants to go?
You're starting, so why don't you start?
Okay. I have a show called August Heat, which I'm producing and directing.
Okay.
It's a story that I remember reading many, many years ago, liking it, and it came back to me, and I thought, oh, I can write that into a play.
Okay.
So
now the show is way before your time. You know, that was 1910. It was originally put out?
1910 was when it was originally written by W.F. Harvey. He was a Quaker, lived in England. I'm going to reset the story in New Orleans.
Okay.
At about the same time, about 1920s.
Okay.
So I sat down and wrote a little play based on that story.
Okay. And without giving too much away, what's kind of the feel of it?
Heat.
Heat.
August.
And how angry we get.
Uncomfortable, yes, yes.
I think we can all relate to that these days.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a horror story.
Okay.
It was always treated as a ghost story, and in fact, it has been used as a basis for radio plays, in which Ronald Colman played the part that Al is going to play. Okay. Also, Fred McMurray played the part that Al's going to play on stage. Well, he did it for radio. So, and it's been actually made into a comic book too. There was Secrets of a Sinister House in a July 1973 issue of that. It appears. So it's well liked.
So Al, you're doing you're doing this play, but you're also producing, directing the other one that we're going to be talking about, Death Knocks.
Yes, Death Knocks by Woody Allen. If you could imagine a horror story written by Woody Allen, you probably have it. The premise is a well-to-do businessman, 1963 in Queens, New York. He's sitting at home by himself, and then death comes stumbling in through his window to take him off to the great beyond. And the ensuing conversation and interaction between the two is somewhat amusing.
Now this is it's a theme that's been visited before in a lot of movies, you know, I think it was Mr. Black and things like that, where it's like, you know, death comes and that person's aware they're not ready yet. And they kind of have to come to terms with what this is, what the real meaning of life. Now, is that kind of how that one visits a little bit?
With a twist.
With a Woody Allen twist?
With a twist, yeah. That's pretty much it, but with a little twist at the end about where death ends up and where the businessman ends up.
Is it contemplative? Or are you kind of like touching
on a lot of
themes?
Is Woody Allen contemplative?
I think so. I mean, yeah. You know, I think you certainly find that in his stuff. You know, a lot of maybe his earlier stuff. I don't know.
Well, I think he's contemplating what death would be like if he was a schlep who comes into somebody's apartment in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Because we all resist that notion, like it's never going to happen to us, right? And then when it comes, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
The reality of life is that's coming. Yeah. So when you guys find these plays, pick them, how do you go about choosing what you're going to do and put on the stage?
This one was interesting to me because the two actors in the play had been working on it for over a year, and they finally said, hey, we need to find a director. And so they came to me and asked me if I would come work with them on this. And it's just a joy to work with them because they've been working so hard on this for a long time. And it's just, all I had to do was come in and help them kind of put the finishing touches on it because they've done all the work.
That's easy. And Michael, how did you come to the Old Pros? Have you always wanted to do this? Is something you did earlier?
I was solicited.
Solicited? You recruited?
That's right. My wife was walking along Aliso Creek, met Carol Glenn, and then the three of us were met up again, and Carol said, how would you like to play in It's a Wonderful Life? So I played George in It's a Wonderful Life, and that sort of got me started. I recalled that I had a great story by Edith Wharton called Roman Fever, which then I rewrote into a play, which we performed, and then we actually filmed it as well. And you can see it on YouTube.
What's the least tawdry solicitation I've ever heard of?
Yeah. Oh, it was a great solicitation.
How long are both of these? How long of a night are we talking about? They're short plays, right? They're both short kind of story plays.
The entire thing will be about an hour
Okay. Okay.
before the two shows. Yeah.
Now, in that compression of time, when you kind of like have a 3-act structure to story arc, is it more challenging to get all of that information in? Do you feel like in terms of, or rather like have a 2-hour play where you're allowed to let the characters kind of develop and you let the story kind of build? Do you find it a little more challenging to get all the points across?
Well, you're talking about the basic difference in the theatrical terms of a 1-act and a
Right.
full-length play. And the 1-act is shorter. It requires you to have something that has a little more punch to it, grabs the audience quicker, holds them, but then
Right.
doesn't have to retain them for the full, 2 hours or so for another thing. The other thing with our audience, they want to get home a little earlier than some theater-going audiences might.
Yeah. So do you think it's like, it's kind of, it gets all the messages out there, kind of pops a little quicker? What do you prefer? Do you prefer the kind of the longer, letting something stew for a while?
Well,
or
you've got a play that's already written, okay, and right in your case.
Yeah, in my case, it's,
Okay. And in
Yeah.
my case, I have a
he's got
short
one that
story.
has- yeah, he's
so,
got a story,
so the
Yeah.
parameters are already there.
Right.
If you were talking about me writing a play from scratch, well, then 2-3 hours. I mean,
it's going to be epic. That's great. So how long have you been doing this?
I've been with the Old Pros for a couple of years now. I've been doing theater most of my life. I have I graduated from UC Irvine
Right.
with the degree in drama. So there's that. But then I went to law school. Did that for a long time. So
Yeah, wasted some
a lot-
time
a lot
over
of-
there.
A lot of community, a lot of community theater.
And how can people get involved in the Old Pros if they're interested in getting involved, doing part of it, come up with their own ideas, audition?
Well, we're having auditions next Tuesday
Okay.
for another show, which is a combination of Thurber's Fables and Pfeiffer's People.
Okay.
And Gail Zalone is directing the Thurber's Fables part, and I'm directing the Pfeiffer's People part. And again, our auditions will be next Tuesday from 3 to 6 at the Pacific Performing Arts Center, PAC.
Okay. And should people, it's not a resume, you don't have to have experience to do this, right? Just a kind of enthusiasm and excitement about
oh,
it.
please.
Please, yeah.
The place to really start is to come next Tuesday, the 8th.
Yeah.
Clubhouse 5. Be there at 6:30. Interact with some of the people there, and you can start.
There you go.
You can
Yeah.
join right then and
Are there
there.
opportunities to be behind the scenes, direct, produce,
Oh,
lighting,
absolutely,
staging, that kind of thing,
absolutely.
too?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
folks who maybe not, hey, I'd like to be part of this, but I'm not really the person I want to be on stage.
Come
right?
to the auditions, and we're also looking for people to fill those roles. And if you come to auditions, you can sign up for anything you want to sign up. And then again, that's Wednesday. The show's on Tuesday. Auditions are the next day on Wednesday.
Well, that sounds like a good deal.
Good
I think we can
plugs.
Find
I
a
gotta
little
get my
something for
plugs in.
everybody.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much, Alan, Michael. We really appreciate you being here, and we look forward to the show and the shows on the 15th. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you,
you.
guys. Well, the show goes on here. When we come back, the Fit Brain Club is going to be telling us about some amazing opportunities you have for Alzheimer's patients to be able to have some daycare here right in the local area and how to keep your mind sharp. We're going to stay with us on this day. Thanks.